will be your shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Who are
This
you?
one.
Tell me. Yeah.
I am Josh Potter. I am a freelance videographer and the owner of 1413 Visuals in Winterville.
Hi, Josh.
There you go. We started it off.
We have an introduction. It's good.
Yeah.
Tell me how many years you live in Greenville, because it's all about people of Greenville.
Wow. I've been in the Greenville / Winterville / Ayden area my whole life, with a little exception of a few years where I lived in Pamlico Beach, which is in Beaufort County. But essentially, my whole life I've been in this area.
What role Greenville plays in your life? How do you think it impacted you?
Greenville's a town where a lot of college students, they go to school and then they want to go elsewhere. Well, I like this area. I like Greenville. I like the people around here. Most importantly, like I got a family and I've got a business here, so that's what keeps me here. I've never had the idea like, oh, I want to go to a bigger city. And Greenville's growing into a bigger city, but I just like this town. I like this area. It's a good match for me and my family.
Too. Yeah, I love it too. How do you think? Because for creatives. You always think about big city life, going to LA, New York, somewhere to create more, to have more clients and all of that. But how do you think you still keep this creative hub, creative job while living in Greenville?
Well, Greenville, there's a lot of creatives in Greenville. And one of the things that I'm working for with the studio is the studio to become like a hub for all the different creatives. Obviously, it's hard to compete with LA or Atlanta or something like that, even just with like the 2,000 square foot studio I have. But one of the things that I like to see is when people come into the studio, they're like, oh, I can't believe this is here. I can't believe this is a thing in, it's technically in Winterville, but Winterville area, and that kind of drives me to keep adding more stuff to the studio. But there's definitely a huge creative community here. And when I say creative, I'm talking everything from photo, video, art, painting, like it all, right? And something that the studio has kind of shown to me is that there needs to be some type of hub that people can meet fellow creatives, that can try out ideas. And that's one of the side benefits of owning the studio, is seeing what people can come up with and what they have in their head that they want to turn into a reality visually.
Tell me more about the studio, because it's a creative hub. It looks amazing. I always come here and it feels amazing. You just don't want to leave. It's like, it's beautiful. You have so many tools available here. Tell me more about what is the studio is all about, what people can do here, what possibilities.
Absolutely. So the studio is a 2,000 square foot warehouse style studio. It's like I said, it's in a warehouse, so we got a lot of room. There's two main attractions. There's the cyc wall, which is like a infinity wall where it just looks like all white. And then there's the podcast studio, which we're in here right now. I'll start with the cyc wall. The cyc wall is, I tell people to think of it as like a blank canvas, because it's a big white wall. Like, it's literally a canvas, right? But one of the things that I think stands out is I've installed a lot of different lighting in it, to where, number one, like if you want to just come in and shoot a family photo session on the white wall with the white background, you could do that. Or if you have some crazy music video that you need the lighting to sync up to the song and do different things, it's got that too. So it's kind of for everybody. It's for every level of experience. One of the things that I do when somebody books their first session is I explain to them, like, you have all the lighting here, stays in the studio for you to do everything. If you have never shot in a studio setting, I've got all the equipment here, and it's included in your rental.
Do you help them, like, to figure it out how
yes,
everything works?
And usually the first time somebody uses the studio, I like to meet them, learn a little bit about them, and if they have questions, I answer them, and I show them how to get the most out of their time using the studio, because everybody wins with that, Yeah. And I want people to be confident when they book that they're going to get good product out of the space.
It's amazing that you offer all those services and the help, your expertise, because your expertise is very valuable. Like, you know everything.
I don't know everything.
Trust me.
I will say that, this is my studio, so I spend a lot of time in here, and I use it to shoot stuff all the time. So I kind of have figured out some of the tips and tricks to get the most out of the space. And I just want people to have a good time shooting in here. I get a lot of photographers and videographers that have never shot in a studio setting because there's not really anything like that around here.
Never had something
and
like
so
this here, yeah.
I want that transition from using natural light to using studio lights to be easy. And at the same time, I get videographers and photographers that are very experienced that they come in here and they want to use their off-camera flash settings and strobes and stuff like that. Cool. But I really want this place to be for everybody and for every level of experience.
So we have this wall
Mm-hmm.
with all the lights, with all the options, and then we have a podcast studio.
Yeah, so we're in the podcast studio, and before I owned the studio, I would have people ask me all the time, hey, I want to do a podcast. What equipment do I need to get? And I would make the list of all the things you need, and then they're like, I want to do a video too. I'm like, well, you need 3 cameras. Do you know how to edit? You don't know how to edit? Well, okay. You need this, that, thousands and thousands of dollars to do it right. And then it's like the lighting. There's too many variables for somebody that has zero experience with the nerdy stuff to do that. But they have an idea.
Because it looks so simple. Like, it looks
Come
beautiful.
on.
Just 2 chairs, a few microphones.
Yeah,
like,
it's
what's so difficult about it? Yeah, just do the podcast. And then when you start actually learning about it and diving in, you're like, oh.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it. And the amount of space that this takes up, like, it takes up a whole room. And especially if you're, a lot of times there's a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend that want to do a podcast about whatever, right? Well, they have to like tear that stuff down when they want to do it and put it back up. It's just, it's too much work. So this was the solution to that problem, is that, okay, I've got experience in like broadcast and lighting and stuff like that. And I've got a ton of experience in live streaming. And I was like, well, I got the equipment, I got the cameras. Why not put it all together where if somebody has an idea, they come in, they sit down, do their podcast, and not worry about audio, video, background, lighting, whatever, and then they walk out with a finished product. And
it's amazing. Just turnkey. Like, you just come in, everything's ready.
Yeah, and the other thing that was that I wanted to figure out is how to make it customizable and where it doesn't look the same for everybody, right? So I did that with using RGB lights where, like, I know that the people at Greenville interviews, you use kind of a blue color, so I put that up there. Then I have the monitor that has your logo.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
and I could get all kinds of different looks, and we even offer, like, if you want like a table instead of this more casual layout, we could do that. But that's kind of it's all a new idea for this area, right? And trying to explain that, hey, you walk in, walk out with a product, because usually, like, let's say if this wasn't me and you doing the interview, but like, let's say if it was you and your friend, whatever, I switch the cameras live, and when you're done, I hit stop recording, and you have your file that's like, other than adding the little beginning, if you want an intro and an outro, it's already done. The audio levels are balanced.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it sounds like a dream.
It's very easy. Yes, thank you.
We should do a podcast every time. I will switch to podcast format.
You will?
Because it sounds like a dream. Like, you don't have to edit. You don't have to do anything. You just show up with the guests and do it, and it looks amazing.
And part of the thing is, like, once we're finished today, I'll give you that file just like if you were a client or whatever. And a lot of times it's super useful for cutting. Like, if you want to keep the long format and upload that to YouTube and let it be a 20-minute podcast, or if you want to cut it up into shorts, I have a lot of people do that. I have businesses that use it to where it looks like it's a podcast, but they just need shorts for reels and stuff like that. Yeah.
So we will be able to do it. Like,
yeah. I'll show you. Yeah,
you'll show it.
I'll show you.
You know what? What else we have in a studio? Let's talk more about studio, because I'm curious. Like, that area, you use it often, right? When you just walk in the lobby, it looks cute, it looks nice, and
Thank you. Well, I wanted everything to be shootable. Like, I wanted, and I tell people when they come in, I'm like, hey, feel free to move lights in there, like, use it. That lobby kind of has like a 90s aesthetic to it, from I think, was it Life magazine or Time magazine? Which one do they have in there? Anyway, they're from like the 70s. I have a Atari in there. I guess this is leaning more towards the 70s, 80s aesthetic. Anyway, a record player. but it has a cool look to it, and that's what
Yeah.
I wanted. And honestly, I don't think I've put that much thought into designing a room, even in my own house. Like
Of
it's
course.
like mixed match
Of
furniture and
course.
stuff, but in theirs looks really nice.
Yes.
So yeah. And then along with like the lobby area, one of the things that, because I used the studio before I owned it, and I was like made note of things that were missing in my opinion, and we have a ton of creature comforts for our clients to use, and these little things sound silly, but I promise like they make a big difference. Like have a huge Bluetooth speaker that most people like to shoot like we're doing a photo session, shoot while having music playing. So that was the thing. Lots of places to set stuff down. A cart that has a monitor on it that photographers that know what tethering is or want to tether, they could do that where they hook their camera up to it and shoot. I have a toolbox that has like the common little things you forget, like a tripod plate.
I love how thoughtful it
Yeah, have
is.
you ever left a
Oh yeah.
cable
Yeah, yeah,
tripod
yeah.
plate?
Me, of
I even
course.
have, yeah, you're like all the time.
All the time.
But those are the little things that I think make a difference. And we have like a little hair makeup area that has like a vanity and all that good stuff. So I tried to think of stuff that's not technical, like lighting. And also, I have a ton of equipment, right? Like lights and stuff. There's certain things that that's like you can rent for your shoot that's not included with the base package. So, and when people hear that, I don't want them to think that like they don't get any, like when you rent your $50 booking for per hour, you get 3-point lighting. Like it's in there. It lives in there. It's always there. Like if you don't own any of that equipment, it's there for you to try out and use.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
Yeah.
And it's thoughtful because you are a professional. You know what people need, what professionals need,
Yeah.
and beginners.
Yeah. Well,
You thought about everyone,
yeah,
and I love it.
And I do have a lot of people that this is their first time shooting in a studio, so I really don't want them to be intimidated. I want them to have a good experience and come back and tell other friends about it
Yep.
and shoot more in the future. Yeah.
And do you have people coming in from other areas? Because I feel like it's unique even for Greenville, of course, but also for surrounding areas.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some, and through all this is through like social media. So Instagram's kind of the thing that works really good for us, and having a wall like that, like every big city will have a wall or something like that, if not bigger, whatever. But it's the lighting that's included. That's what I'm learning is like what's making a difference. I had a band out of Nashville book some stuff because they saw it on social and they knew somebody here locally that shoots it. So that was like kind of a big win for me, like because
love
that getting out of that, and I'm gonna continue to keep putting cool things in there and trying to really maximize that space. And I have some plans for growth in there too.
Because
like,
Josh never stops.
well, as long as it's doing okay, and I'm not just digging a hole of debt, you know, I'm trying to make it work, and I'm trying to make it unique. So
I love it.
yeah.
Studio is here for about how many? Like about a year, maybe more.
This studio,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the whole rundown. You cut it down how you want to. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So
because I wanted to talk about your journey, whole journey.
yeah.
To this point.
Okay. I see what
You
you're
know?
saying. Yeah. So I've been in charge of the studio for what, like 6-7 months.
Oh really?
Yeah. And when I took it over, it didn't have like a lot of the stuff that I've put in it. It needed like a videographer's touch to like put the lights in. But yeah, I've been in charge of it for like 6 or 7 months now.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Yep. Tell me more how you get to this point.
How I got to this point, the whole journey.
Owning the whole journey. Like, let's keep it brief.
Yeah. 1990, I was born in
I went to the high
County. No, so I
You worked at the TV station.
Yeah, I worked at the TV station.
It was your first job?
Yeah. Other than cleaning up construction sites and stuff, and like in a big dump truck, that was my first job. My dad was a contractor, and he's a hard worker. And I think that I get a lot of like my ability to build stuff. It's nowhere close to what he could do, but I kind of just being around it my whole life. But I did not want to work in construction, and I was like, okay, I got to find something that I enjoy, right? And I got a job at the TV station, the title was Morning Show Photog, and it was like the lowest paid, the hours were horrible. It was part-time too. And I did that for like a year and a half. And then I got a phone call from the guy that would soon become my boss saying like, hey, you heard that you work hard and there's an opening in creative services. It's full-time. Would you be interested? I was like, absolutely. So that got me into, I call it like the big boy job, you know, like, you're like, oh.
So creative services at TV station.
Yep. And
Wow.
that's like people that shoot commercials. That's what that is. And I did that for probably 4 years, 5 years. And then I moved to the promotions director. So anything that had to deal with the station's image, like the talent being on promo, saying like, tune in tonight when we talk about whatever, that's what I was in charge of. So that's, I kind of got to try a lot of things creatively, get a lot of experience shooting people on camera, playing with lighting. And right before COVID, I loved the TV station. I loved everybody I worked with, but you're working for somebody, right? And I was like, okay, I kind of hit the ceiling, and I was like, I think I should try to go out on my own, and that's what I did. So, and when I did that,
was it scary?
It's very scary, but I met a lot of really good people working at the TV station and a lot of business owners, and they gave me some advice, and they're like, look, dude, you will never know until you try it, and you want to live your whole life and never try this thing, right? And so, yeah, it was scary because that was, I had health insurance. I was doing okay, not killing it money-wise, but I was making
stable, stability, it was security.
Yes, and it was one of those things where if I stayed there, I would have stayed there till I retired and then retired and done like the normal thing. Instead, I chose this path, which the verdict is not out yet whether this was the right decision. I think it was, but
I think it was.
Yeah. So COVID hit. I'm freelance, and I'm like, oh no, what I do? But before COVID became like real, because like at first, like, what's this sickness going on, whatever. Yeah. I wanted to offer something unique to my clients, and that was live streaming using high-end gear, not just like a webcam. And I had that equipment. COVID hit, nobody could get that stuff anymore. So I had this advantage of having this equipment. And so that first year of my business, I was live, like 70% of my business was probably live streaming. Everything from funerals, weddings, festivals, just anything and everything. And I got good at it. That like and like saying I got good at it, I mean like the camera and audio stuff, totally easy. It's the internet. Every time it's the internet. And I would learn little tricks with dealing with different routers or whatever that was just until you get yourself in a predicament to where something's going to fail and you have to figure it out, you would never know. So I did the live streaming thing and also helped like install live streaming stuff in churches and businesses.
I remember your live streams with business owners. Like you did those interviews with Jay.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Good. Yeah, we shot those in the restaurant, which it was still people weren't going in to eat, but they were still doing their delivery stuff and pickup. So not the best place to try to shoot.
But still, you kept going. This is, I think, like amazing, and it tells a lot about you. Like you just keep going no matter what. Yeah,
Jay was one of the business owners that pushed me to go out, and he's always been supportive. I don't know why he likes me so much, honestly, but. He was like, he has a soft spot for the community. And that's one of the things that we did was it's called Community Voices, where we had PJ up there. We had
Luke Owens.
Yeah, we had all these different people, and we were getting this perspective of this crazy thing that was happening, which was COVID, and not being able, and a lot of them were business owners trying to figure out how to keep afloat. Yeah.
I loved it. So the live streams, COVID and everything, and just lots of business stuff.
Yeah, and so I continued, once stuff started getting back to normal, I was always still doing my I call it corporate video, but commercials, and some stuff that goes on TV, some stuff that is for social. And that's still the backbone of how I make a living. And then, I was doing that. And then 6 months ago, I had the opportunity to take over the studio. And I was like, I got to try it because I think that I can make it into something pretty pretty big. And so that's where
Again,
we're
the
at now.
scary thing.
It is scary.
But worth trying.
It is.
Because
It
it's a
is.
huge responsibility to run this facility, to make sure everything is like it's supposed to be, to constantly evolve and improve it. It's huge. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time and effort.
Yes.
So it's probably scary, but it's so worth trying, especially with all your skills.
Well, thank you.
You're
but
welcome.
it is because like you take out the stress of knowing that I need to make this much money for it to pay it off, right? It's a big playground for me to try things.
Yep.
And that's a lot of fun to me. So you combine like me trying different artistic stuff and then other people getting experience shooting in this type of thing. It's super rewarding. Yeah.
How do you combine all of that with being a dad?
You have to have a good support system.
She's right there.
Yeah. So Tracy's back there,
Yeah.
making sure the audio's good. But she is the backbone of everything that happens, and because she is the logical thinking side of this business. I'm a creative guy. She's the logical numbers girl, and that relationship helps out so much because otherwise I would miss sending invoices. I would miss sending emails, responding. I'm just
You're just creative. I get it.
yeah. I guess you could call it that. But no, she's a super huge part of the studio,
And kids come here to play
yes,
sometimes?
actually, there's so much stuff that they could get into, but every once in a while I'll bring them in here. I think Nora will be here today, so it's the boys. So if people don't know, I have twin boys, and
How old are they now?
they're 3 and Nora's 6.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a lot.
Nora's easy. She's a sweet, well-behaved little girl, and the boys are not.
And the boys just
They're
bring this
crazy.
chaotic energy into
my
your
God,
life.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, Tracy. Lots of energy.
Yeah.
And Tracy anchors it all. Like everyone.
She
everyone.
does. Yeah, her being flexible and getting the vision of this has been amazing. So
Love it. Let's wrap it up with vision for the future. What's next for Josh Potter? Keep doing crazy things, scary things, no matter what, not stopping. What's next?
let's see. I would love to get to a point where we outgrow this space, or either we need a second space or something larger than this. I do think the more time that I put into this, the more experiments that I try with lighting and stuff and upgrading things, that might be a possibility. Since that there's not really anything like this in Greenville, I just think it can grow. I think it can grow, and I'm going to try to do that, but I need support. So come on down to 1413 Visuals. No, I would love to keep growing and make this space as big as it can be until we need a larger warehouse. So, yeah.
I love it. Let's make it big.
Let's make it big.
Let's make it big.
Yeah.
Let's say something like words of encouragement to people, because I feel like you have an interesting journey. You never were scared of. I mean, you might were scared, but you still kept going. Yeah. And I love this narrative about you. So let's just say some words of encouragement to people who may be facing some challenges now, or they thinking about taking a leap in their life.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I anytime that I have younger people or kids come in here and ask, like, how do I get to do this for a living? I tell them the same thing. I'm like, you can't. Number one, you have to be able to communicate with people. You can't be afraid to talk to somebody. And that's kind of like a generic thing for no matter what you do in life, you know. But the other thing is, and this can kind of apply the same way, is don't be afraid to mess up. And go out there, mess up, learn from it, and try not to do it again, even though it's going to happen again. And that sounds simple, but it's something that I still abide by, and that's how you learn. So just don't be afraid to mess up and get your hands dirty, because if you don't do that, you'll never know if what your big idea was could have happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I need to add something.
Go ahead.
Josh is responsible for people of Greenville is still alive. because you always encourage me and you always help me.
Well, yeah.
And I was at that point like many years ago when we had that call, when we first like talked in real life. I was at the point when I'm like, I don't see the point of doing this. I don't see any, I don't see any, because I knew how I want it to look like. And obviously I don't have all the technical skills to
Right.
achieve that. And you gave me those advices. You supported me. You filmed even
Yeah.
a few episodes, I think.
Yeah.
And it helped me so much to keep going. And even now you support me. And even now we're doing this. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Thank you.
No, look, you have always not let the technology side of it hold you back. And that's one of the things that I thought was cool, because I think you were shooting these things on anything you had at the beginning.
It's true.
Which a lot of people, they look at like, oh, I need to wait till I get a camera. Oh, I need to wait till I get all this stuff. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. Just going out and that applies
I'm just
to
showing up.
You're going out, and if you're messing up, you're learning from it, right? Like that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. But because that's intimidating to do, to put yourself out there, and that really is like, there's no secret. It's just what you got to do, and you did it, and that was cool. That's cool.
All right. Please watch People of Greenville. Please come to the studio and film and shoot your stuff and everything, because it's fun. Let's stay creative and let's support each other. Yay. That's it.
Bye.
Bye. I
Cool.
love it. Yeah, I love it.
That wasn't bad at all, was it?
Yeah, it's
See?
good.